Back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to make a jumpsuit just below the knee. So for that I'm using 2 yards of fabric, my chalk, my tape and the scissors. So first thing I'm going to do is to open up the fabric. So guys, I folded the fabric this way, right? So the next thing I have to do is to check the length of the bottom part of the jumpsuit, and how I'm going to get it is by subtracting the shoulder to the waist from the full length. So the full length I'm working with is 42, right? So 42 minus 17, which is the shoulder to the waist, that will leave me with 25. So the bottom of the pants part of this jumpsuit is going to be 25 inches length. So I'm going to add 1.5 to the 25 inches. That's 1 inch for folding the end, and then half an inch for attaching this part to the top. So that will give me 26.5. 26.5, yeah. So I added 1.5 inch. So I'm going to mark it here, right? And then the next thing I have to do is to check the come down for the hip. So to get the like the crotch line for the jumpsuit, what you will do is either divide the hip measurement by 4 and then add 3 inches to it, which is what I'm going to do. My hip measurement is 44, divided by 4 is 11. So I'm going to add like extra 2.5 inches, because the person I'm working, the owner of the dress doesn't have a lot of hip, so I'm not going to make it 3. But if you feel like your hip is wider, then you could just use your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 3. So that will give me 12.5 here. Wait, 44, that's 11. 44 divided by 4, 11, plus extra 2 inches, 2.2 inches. So that will give me 13. Another way you could get this is have the person sit down, right? They are sitting down, so you measure from their waist down to the butt, like down to the table or wherever they are sitting. That's how you get from their waist down. That's how you're going to get it. Then you add extra like 3 inches for seam allowance, so the person can be able to sit down when they're wearing the jumpsuit. So after that, the next thing you have to do is to check the hip. So the hip for this pant is going to be 11, which is 44 divided by 4. 44 divided by 4, which is 11, and then plus, I'm going to give it half an inch, because remember this jumpsuit is not supposed to be fitted, so I'm going to give it extra half an inch. So that will give me 11.5. The half an inch is not for seam allowance. The half an inch is just for ease, room, because the pants is not supposed to be fitted. So that's 11.5. And then from this line here, if you look, you will see that the first line I made was the one for the 13.5, which if you mark it this way, this line is also my hip line. So it's on this same line that I'm checking for the hip. So at this point here, I'm going to check what my crotch would be. So that should be around 2 inches, right? And then half an inch for room for seam allowance. So I have like 2.5 here. So I'm going to mark it here. Bring this one down this way. If you're making like a pant, you would not normally use like extra 3 inches for this line here. You would use less than that, maybe like 11 or 12 for a high-waisted pant. But because this is jumpsuit, you need enough room so that when you sit down, it's not so tight. So now I'm going to mark this line here. Remember, what I have here left is 2.5 inches. So that's basically it for the front of the pant. I'm going to cut this out. I didn't do anything at the waist because this pant is supposed to be free. So the belt is what will cinch in the waist a little bit. The front piece for the pant. What I did is to fold the fabric again to make the back piece. So this is the front piece here on top of the fabric folded over again. So what you do is just check if you have enough inches here which is 3 inches for the back. So mark it down here. Remember, you didn't have any seam allowance here, you only gave it half an inch for ease. So from the back is where you have your extra room for seam allowance. So what you have to mark is 2 inches, 2 inches, and then 2 inches here. So that's how you're going to mark it here, and then connect it to this 3 inches line that you've made here, right? And then you go from the top here, see where the front is. So this is the line for the front here, right? This is where it stops. So from this line here, you go up by 1.5 or 2 inches, depending on how big your hip is or your butt is. So you go up by 2 inches if your butt is bigger, or you go up by 1.5 if you're on the medium side. So 1.5 is what I'm going to use, and then 1.5 I'm going to mark it down to this side, right? Connect it to the end of this one here. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to connect this here. So after that, I'm going to connect this same line again. So that is it for my back panel. I'm going to cut it out now. So guys, as you can see, this is the 2 panels that I have. One for the back, and then this is for the front. And each one is 2 piece here, and this one is 2 piece here. So with this, I'm going to set it aside and cut the front, the top. So guys, to cut the top part of this, I took the same fabric, because you know I cut my bottom at the end, the other side of the cloth. So the other upper part of the fabric is where I'm cutting the top. That's what is left of the fabric. So I folded it this way because I'm working with 2 yards. So the shoulder that I'm going to be working with, okay, first I'm going to check the bust. So when you fold the fabric, the first thing you have to check is the bust, which is the biggest part of the top of this jumpsuit. So the widest part, so I have 40 as the bust measurement, and then you check if your seam allowance can fit in. Like if you divide the 40 by 4, I have 10 plus the seam allowance, that should give me like extra 1.5 inch or 1 inch, so 11.5. It fits in here, so that's okay. So the next thing you do is to check the shoulder to waist that you're working with. For me, I'm working with 17 plus 1. The 1 is going to make it 18, which should be half an inch for this top and half an inch for the bottom, to attach the ends to the trouser. So I'm going to mark 18 inches here. After that, I'll go up here for shoulder. The shoulder I'm working with is 15 minus 1, that will be 14 divided by 2 is 7. And I minused 1 from it because what you're making is sleeveless, so you don't have to make the shoulder, you don't have to have the sleeve reach the end of the shoulder like you're attaching a sleeve. Instead, because if you do it that way, then when you wear the top, it's going to come out this way, but you want it to be inside of the shoulder, not like at the edge. So I subtracted 1 inch, so now I'm working with 14. So then I'm going to come down this way, and the armhole is how I got this line here. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then you come down this way, armhole divided by 2 is the armhole is 20, divided by 2 is 10. So you mark the line to join this one here. Then you check the neckline you're working with, which is 3 by 3. I want it to be a high neckline. So 3 by 3, you mark it this way. So the next thing is you come down by 1 inch on this line here, connect it here. Then the next thing you have to do is midway here, which is 5, you come in by half an inch here, 0.5 this way, and then you curve it this way, right? If you have the curved ruler, that would even be better. Curve it this way, but this is for the front, this is not for the back. So after that, the next thing you have to do is to mark on this same line for your armhole is where I'm marking the bust line. So that will be 11.5, which is 40 divided by 4 plus 1.5, so that's 11.5. On the waist, I'm going to leave it the same way because this is supposed to be a free jumpsuit. So guys, now that I've done this, what I have to do is to trim out that ½ inch because from the front piece I trimmed out the back piece. The only difference is that I came down 1 inch for the neckline at the back, and then for the I also gave it 1 inch for zip allowance at the center back. And then what I'm going to do now is to trim out this line that I gave it at the armpit here, just for the front piece. So I'm going to remove the back now and trim it out here. Just going to go in and remove the curl here. So this is the jumpsuit. I even made the belt and attached to it. I didn't attach it, you could remove it. And then this is the neckline. I used a bias of the same fabric to make the neckline. I'll still finish up the sides of the sleeve. And then this is the back. This is the zip. And then this is the end of the pant. You could remove the belt. So guys, basically what I did was to join the two front piece of the pant. I got the two front piece of the pant, joined it together, and then joined the top of the pant to the bottom of the pant. That's the stitch I made here. I gave it a dart on the top, I gave it a dart on the pant, I gave it a dart, 2 darts here, 2 darts on the pant. The same for the back. The dart in front is it goes up to about 8 inches, but the dart I gave at the back stops here about 4 inches here on the 2 sides, and then the dart at the top part of the back goes up about maybe 10 inches or more than that up here. And then I added the zip. I attached the two back of the pants together, joined it to the 2 backs of the front, and then attached my zip. And as you can see, after doing that, I now brought the whole piece of the front, the whole piece of the back, attached the shoulder, and then joined the side. So as you can see from the side of the pants, I'm able to shape it all the way down if I need to take in the waist. Because remember, I didn't make any adjustment to the waist when I was cutting the pant. So that's why that's why I'm able to do it this way if I attach it together. If I didn't attach it together, then I won't be able to shape it in this way. So that's the way I did it. And then also this side, you can easily take it in if you need to do that, and just go in as you wish. And then you attach your zip at the center back. It might not have enough room at the back of the pant, but you can manage to just fit in your zip at the center back here. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.